Ladies and gentlemen, let me ask you something. When was the last time you truly felt magnetic, not just seen, but felt heard and wanted? Today, I want to share with you a secret not about manipulation, not about playing games, but about the authentic, radiant power you already possess. This isn't about becoming someone you're not. This is about stepping into the truest, most vibrant version of yourself. Because let me tell you, when you live in that energy, you don't chase love, love chases you. Falling in love with yourself isn't just a feel-good sentiment, it's the foundation for everything else in your life, especially your relationships. When you truly know your worth, you radiate a confidence that doesn't just turn heads, it turns lives around. But let's be real, self-love isn't always easy. It takes time, effort, and a willingness to look inward, even when it's uncomfortable. So many of us have spent years seeking validation from others, partners, friends, family, even strangers on social media. We've tied our value to how many likes we get, how desirable we seem, or how much someone else praises us. And when that validation fades or doesn't come at all, we're left feeling empty, wondering, what's wrong with me? Let me tell you something, nothing is wrong with you. You were born whole, worthy, and enough. Somewhere along the way, society, experiences, or even relationships convinced you otherwise. It's time to unlearn those lies. Knowing your worth starts with understanding who you are at your core. This isn't about the roles you play: daughter, mother, partner, professional. It's about what makes you you, your quirks, your dreams, your strengths, and yes, even your flaws. The things that make you human, the things that make you real. Take a moment to think about what you love about yourself, not what others have told you they like, but what you genuinely admire. Maybe it's your sense of humor, your resilience, or the way you light up when you talk about something you're passionate about. If that feels hard, start small. Even recognizing one thing you appreciate about yourself is a step in the right direction. Once you begin to see your own value, you'll notice a shift in how you carry yourself. Confidence isn't about arrogance or thinking you're better than anyone else. It's about understanding that you are just as worthy as everyone else. That quiet assurance draws people in because it's authentic, and authenticity is irresistible. But self-love isn't just about feeling good in the moment. It's also about setting standards for how you allow others to treat you. When you know your worth, you stop tolerating behavior that diminishes you. You recognize that being alone is far better than being in a relationship that chips away at your confidence, joy, or peace of mind. This isn't always easy. It might mean walking away from situations or people you've outgrown. It might mean saying no more often, even when it feels uncomfortable. But every time you honor your boundaries, you're reinforcing the message to yourself and others: I am valuable. I am deserving of respect. I am enough. Here's the beautiful part: when you fully embrace your worth, you start attracting people who see it too. You no longer have to fight for attention or affection because the right people are drawn to your energy. They see the light within you because you've stopped dimming it. And let's be clear, knowing your worth doesn't mean you'll never have doubts. There will be days when insecurities creep in, when you question whether you're doing enough, being enough. That's okay. Self-love isn't about perfection, it's about persistence. It's about choosing again and again to believe in your inherent value, even on the tough days. Start small. Speak kindly to yourself. Celebrate your wins, no matter how tiny they seem. Surround yourself with people who uplift you and remind you of your greatness. And remember, the most important relationship you'll ever have is the one with yourself. When you know your worth, you don't just shine, you glow from within. That glow, that's what makes the world stop and take notice. And trust me, the right person will see it and never let it go. Passion is one of the most magnetic qualities a person can possess. It's that spark, that fire, that unique energy that makes you feel alive and fills your life with purpose. And when you live with passion, you don't just exist, you thrive. People are naturally drawn to that kind of vibrancy, and the right man will be captivated by it, not just initially, but for the long haul. Let's start by asking what lights you up. What are the things you do that make you lose track of time? For some, it's a creative outlet: painting, writing, or playing music. For others, it might be something physical, like running, yoga, or dancing. Maybe it's volunteering, cooking, traveling, or diving into a good book. Whatever it is, passion is deeply personal. It's not about what society deems impressive, it's about what makes you feel fulfilled. People suppress their passions because they think it's not practical or because they're too busy trying to be what someone else wants them to be. Let me tell you this, losing yourself to please others is a guaranteed way to dim your light. And when your light dims, you not only lose touch with yourself, but you also lose the ability to attract people who are genuinely aligned with you. Living with passion means making time for the things that make your heart sing, no matter how small or insignificant they might seem to others. When you prioritize what brings you joy, you're not only honoring yourself, but you're also creating a life that feels rich and meaningful. This energy radiates outward, and people can't help but notice. Here's the thing about passion, it's infectious. When you talk about something you love, your eyes light up, your voice becomes animated, and your entire presence shifts. That energy is irresistible. The right man doesn't just want to be a spectator to your joy, he wants to be part of it. He wants to see you in your element, thriving and unapologetically yourself. Passion also gives you a sense of purpose, which is incredibly attractive. People are drawn to those who know where they're going or are at least excited about the journey. When you live with intention, you send a message to the world, I'm here for a reason, and I'm not wasting a moment. That kind of confidence and direction is magnetic. But let's be clear, living with passion doesn't mean every moment of your life will be exciting or Instagram worthy. It's about finding joy and fulfillment in the everyday. It's about knowing that your life is yours to create and that you have the power to make it extraordinary. People fall into the trap of thinking that their passions have to align perfectly with someone else's for a relationship to work. That's not true. It's not about sharing every interest. It's about respecting and celebrating each other's passions. The right man will cheer you on, even if he doesn't fully understand why you're so passionate about what you do. And you'll do the same for him. When you live with passion, you stop looking for someone to complete you because you're already whole. Instead, you're looking for someone who complements you, someone who enhances the vibrant life you've built for yourself. And let me tell you, men are drawn to women who are living life on their own terms. When you're not waiting for someone else to bring excitement or purpose into your life, you become a beacon of light, joy, and possibility. The right man won't just chase you, he'll want to run alongside you, matching your energy, sharing in your adventure, and supporting your dreams. Don't wait. Find your passion, live it boldly, and watch how it transforms your life and your relationships. The right person will be captivated by your fire and inspired to build a life with you that's just as vibrant and passionate. Setting high standards in your life and relationships is not just about having expectations, it's about valuing yourself enough to demand what you deserve. It's a declaration to the world that you know your worth and won't settle for anything less than what honors that worth. And when you set those standards, something incredible happens. The right people rise to meet them. Let's start by clearing up a common misconception. Setting high standards doesn't mean being demanding or difficult. It doesn't mean creating an impossible checklist or expecting perfection. It's about creating a framework for how you wish to be treated and holding yourself accountable to those same principles. It's about ensuring that your relationships, romantic or otherwise, are built on respect, mutual effort, and shared values. The first step in setting high standards is getting crystal clear on what you want and need. This requires introspection and honesty. What does respect look like to you? What does love mean to you? What are the non-negotiables in your relationships? When you have a strong sense of your own values and desires, you're better equipped to communicate them to others and recognize when someone doesn't align with them. Once you've identified your standards, it's essential to live by them. This means embodying the qualities you want to attract. If you desire honesty, practice honesty in all areas of your life. If you value kindness, make it a cornerstone of how you treat others. People are drawn to consistency and integrity. When your actions reflect your standards, you inspire others to treat you accordingly. One of the most challenging but necessary aspects of setting high standards is learning to say no. Sometimes we're so afraid of being alone or missing out that we accept less than we deserve. We make excuses for bad behavior, hoping things will change. But let me tell you, this settling doesn't make someone stay, it makes them lose respect for you. Saying no isn't just about rejecting others, it's about affirming yourself. It's about sending a clear message that your time, energy, and heart are precious and not to be taken lightly. And while walking away from situations or people that don't meet your standards can be difficult, it's also incredibly empowering. Every time you honor your boundaries, you reinforce your self-worth and make room for relationships that truly uplift you. Setting high standards also means being patient. Sometimes you'll feel like you're waiting longer than others to find the right connection. But remember this, the goal isn't just to find someone, it's to find someone who aligns with your values and respects your standards. Quality over quantity. Depth over surface level connections. The right person won't see your standards as a challenge or a threat, they'll see them as an opportunity to show up for you in the way you deserve. They'll respect your boundaries and appreciate the clarity with which you communicate your needs. This isn't about creating a power dynamic, it's about fostering mutual respect and understanding. It's important to acknowledge that not everyone will meet your standards, and that's okay. Your standards aren't for everyone, they're for you. They're the guideposts that help you navigate life and relationships with confidence and self-respect. The people who align with them will value you all the more for having them. Let's also talk about the flip side of setting standards, being open to growth and flexibility. While your core values and non-negotiables should remain firm, it's important to allow space for relationships to evolve and deepen. Sometimes people rise to your standards not because they were already there, but because they were inspired to grow by being with you. Setting high standards is about living a life that reflects your worth. It's about knowing that you deserve love, respect, and effort in all your relationships. And when you uphold those standards, you create a space for the kind of connection that doesn't just satisfy you, it fulfills you. Don't be afraid to set the bar high. You're not asking for too much, you're asking for what's right. The right person will see your worth and work to earn a place in your life, not because they have to, but because they want to. And when that happens, you'll realize that your standards were never too high, they were exactly where they needed to be. We've all heard the advice, play hard to get, keep them guessing, don't show your hand too soon. But let me tell you something real, the strongest, most lasting relationships aren't built on games, they're built on grace. Grace is about showing up as your authentic self, extending kindness, and allowing room for vulnerability. It's about creating a connection that's honest and grounded, not one based on manipulation or tactics. Let's talk about why games don't work in the long run. Sure, they might create some initial intrigue or excitement, but at their core, games are rooted in fear and insecurity. They're about controlling the narrative, keeping the upper hand, or hiding your true feelings because you're afraid of getting hurt. And while these tactics might create a temporary spark, they rarely lead to genuine connection. Grace, on the other hand, is transformative. It's about having the courage to show up as you are without pretenses or masks. It's saying, this is me, flaws, strengths, and everything in between. And let me tell you, that kind of authenticity is magnetic. The right person isn't looking for someone perfect, they're looking for someone real. When you approach relationships with grace, you give others the freedom to be themselves too. You create an environment where both of you can let your guard down and truly connect. There's no guessing, no wondering where you stand, no need to analyze every text message. Instead, there's clarity, openness, and mutual respect. But grace doesn't mean being a pushover or accepting less than you deserve. On the contrary, grace is about setting boundaries with kindness and standing firm in your values. It's about communicating your needs and expectations in a way that's honest but not confrontational. For example, if someone isn't treating you with the respect you deserve, grace doesn't mean tolerating it. It means addressing it calmly and assertively. Here's the thing, when you operate from a place of grace, you make it clear that you value yourself. And when you value yourself, others will value you too. The right person won't take advantage of your kindness or mistake it for weakness. They'll appreciate your honesty and respond with the same level of care and consideration. Grace also means understanding that nobody is perfect, not you, not the person you're dating. Relationships are messy sometimes. People make mistakes. But when you approach situations with grace, you give others the space to grow, learn, and improve. That doesn't mean tolerating bad behavior or lowering your standards. It means recognizing the humanity in the person you're with and giving them the opportunity to show up better. Another powerful aspect of grace is vulnerability. It's scary to put your heart on the line, to say how you really feel, or to let someone see the parts of you that aren't polished or perfect. But vulnerability is the foundation of true intimacy. When you're willing to open up, you invite others to do the same. You create a connection that goes beyond surface-level attraction and into something deeper and more meaningful. Grace also requires patience, not just with others, but with yourself. It's about understanding that relationships take time to develop and that love isn't always instant. It's allowing yourself to navigate the ups and downs without rushing to conclusions or forcing things to happen. When you approach love with patience and grace, you let it unfold naturally in its own time. At its heart, grace is about balance. It's about being kind without being naive, vulnerable without being overly exposed, and open without losing sight of your own needs. It's about showing up fully as yourself and inviting others to do the same, creating a space where real love can grow. When you approach relationships with grace instead of games, you build trust, respect, and understanding. You create a foundation that can withstand challenges and grow stronger over time. And the right person, they won't just appreciate your grace, they'll reciprocate it. They'll match your kindness with their own, your openness with honesty, and your vulnerability with commitment. So let go of the games, step into grace. Show kindness, set boundaries, and allow love to find you in its most authentic form. The person who truly values you will never need a game to be captivated. They'll be drawn to the light. And love you brings simply by being yourself. Being unapologetically yourself is one of the most liberating and transformative things you can do, not just in your relationships, but in your entire life. It means shedding the layers of what you think you should be and embracing exactly who you are, flaws and all. It's about standing in your truth, owning your uniqueness, and refusing to apologize for the things that make you you. For so many of us, the journey to being unapologetically ourselves begins with unlearning. From a young age, we're taught to conform, to please, to fit into molds that often have nothing to do with who we really are. We're told to be agreeable, to quiet our voices, or to tone down parts of ourselves that feel too much for others. And the result? We shrink, we second-guess ourselves, we hide pieces of our personality to fit someone else's idea of what we should be. But here's the truth: the world doesn't need another copy of someone else. It needs you. It needs your quirks, your passions, your voice, and your individuality. When you try to mold yourself into something you're not, you cheat the world and yourself of the incredible, one-of-a-kind person you are. Being unapologetically yourself starts with self-acceptance. This doesn't mean ignoring areas where you want to grow or improve, but it does mean embracing who you are in this moment. Your journey, your experiences, your strengths, and even your mistakes, they all make up the unique tapestry of you. Stop apologizing for what you've been through or who you've become because of it. Your story is valid, and it's yours to own. When you embrace yourself fully, you exude a kind of confidence that's magnetic. This isn't the loud, flashy kind of confidence that demands attention. It's a quieter, deeper confidence that says, I know who I am and I'm okay with it. People are drawn to that energy because it's rare. In a world where so many people are trying to fit in, someone who is unapologetically themselves stands out. But let's talk about the fear that comes with this, because let's be honest, being yourself can be terrifying. What if people don't like you? What if you're judged or rejected? These fears are real, but they're not insurmountable. Here's what you need to remember: not everyone will like you, and that's okay. You're not for everyone, and everyone isn't for you. When you show up as your true self, the people who are meant to be in your life will find you. These are the people who appreciate you for who you are, not for who you pretend to be. And the ones who don't, let them go. You're not here to dim your light to make others comfortable. Being unapologetically yourself also means embracing vulnerability. It's about showing up fully, even when it's scary. It's letting people see your real thoughts, feelings, and desires without fear of judgment. Vulnerability is powerful because it creates genuine connections. When you're willing to let down your guard, you invite others to do the same, creating relationships that are based on authenticity rather than pretense. It's also important to remember that being unapologetically yourself is a practice, not a one-time decision.